Eclipse of the Heart of the grand finale of the Desert Quest series, and in this video I'll be going over my experience completing this quest and explain why you should spend the time to complete it. Spoilers ahead, so whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Now this quest doesn't have many requirements other than the entire Desert Quest line before it, but for this quest specifically you need a cat or kitten, because let's be fair, everyone dismisses this pet after they've used it for whatever quest they're completing. Go to Gertrude and grab one, some food and common equipment, ink and candles, and unfortunately to speak to a certain NPC called Amascut, you need an Amulet of Monkey Speak or a Caramulet. Now, unless you've completed this achievement, the Animalingual achievement, you'll need to actually remake yours. Or reobtain it, which is quite the process. Unfortunately, this item is not something you can reclaim from the quest chest, although it should absolutely be one of those items, because that would save a lot of just pure frustration. Because I needed to reclaim my Ghost Speak Amulet. I needed to reobtain the monkey dentures from this crate. Oh wait, I forgot you needed to avoid this monkey because otherwise you're thrown into prison. Okay, let's do it sneakily, you know, stealth game, all that. Then use another crate to go into the dungeon and then search another crate for the Monkey Speak Amulet mold. I then traveled through Gilnor using different gnome NPCs until I reached a dungeon through which I needed to run, and eventually my run energy actually depleted. Yes, there are areas in Runescape where we actually need to run so much that your run energy depletes in 2025 to give this NPC a bunch of items, and then I could use the special bar to make the Monkey Speak Amulet inside the Holy Fire. The entire process felt a little bit unnecessary, and of course I could have completed the achievement or never deleted this amulet from my bank, but come on now. Anyways, the quest itself is a lot what you would expect. You talk to a bunch of NPCs and you collect some things and do some things or jump through some hoops to gain the favor of some of the lesser gods. After pleasing these NPCs, you unlock the Flame Plinth puzzle section of the quest. In essence, this puzzle is fairly straightforward. It's a slider puzzle where you need to match the golden floor tiles to the actual plinths themselves. If you match them, they show a blue flame. Completing the puzzle will reward you some dialogue with the memory of Amascut. Now, I would have been fine if Jagex had just left it at a single puzzle, but no, they had to take it a step further and make things miserable by throwing 3 puzzles at you, each one more complicated than the last. Now, I'm not saying puzzles have no place in quests, but adding 3 of them with no option to skip after X amount of minutes is a crime for players that have no interest in such content or have difficulty completing slider puzzles. Quest skip tickets when. Now, the first and second puzzle are pretty doable in a couple of minutes, but the third puzzle had me, well, confused. There are 2 things I didn't realize. First of all, you could rotate plinths by using the left and right section diagonally as seen. Second of all, it's impossible to complete this puzzle without unlocking the additional plinth first by unblocking it and focusing on 4 of the plinths, making sure those are activated first. Because I intended to make a guide at first, I reset the puzzle a couple of times for like fresh footage, and it cost me over 30 minutes to finish the last puzzle. Not exactly how I enjoy spending my time. Thankfully, the rest of the quest is some dialogue, and you do need to make sure you have a couple of options correct, including this part of the quest where you speak to Leela about placing different armies and units. It's worth noting that this quest has actual cutscenes, which I would say is a good thing because it makes the quest feel like an actual quest, deserving for a finale of course, opposed to a PowerPoint slideshow. Props to Jagex for that one. Eventually, you get to the final part of the quest in which you fight Amascut the Devourer in story mode. And yes, Amascut is that boss releasing next week. This is kind of a taste of what the boss is like, although you take very little damage. Now, I intended to do the fight over and over by teleporting out and restarting, but I teleported out just as I killed the boss, so 1 kill where I purposely deal less damage than usual to see what's going on is all I really have. Based on the mechanics I've seen from the story mode version, I'm not quite sure why this boss has to be done in a group, or at least 2 players, but I assume things will require you to do 2 things at once mechanically in the harder versions, either normal, hard, or challenge mode, making it less survivable as a solo player. Maybe similar to like levers in Dungeoneering, where maybe if you're really fast you can hop around the arena, you can do it solo, but it's so much easier with 2 to 5 players, that kind of thing. Interactables, if you will. One mechanic, the I Am mechanic, seems similar to Kerpak's Rifts. Not necessarily the range part of it, but the part where they return as the fight goes on, in the place it was activated previously. Presumably, this is some kind of punishment for players with low DPS. Now, I'm not sure what the Light of Amascut mechanic does in the center, but I assume it stuns Amascut for a little while. It also charges something up. Whatever it is, it's really, really hard to see. I hope they fix that before launch. The final phase has those rectangular waves similar to Nakacha, which I assume are going to be very, very rapid in the hard and challenge modes of this boss. Now, based on the developer diary, I can see there are plenty more mechanics, including minion spawns and other mechanics, and possibly things with the pyramids and the portals and the statues glowing. So I'm really excited to see what this boss is all about, in the normal mode version of course, because that's probably my skill level. Now the boss has some really juicy drops, as you can see, but the quest itself also has some fantastic rewards as well, and it definitely makes it worth doing. Other than the XP lamps, quest skybox, title, and skin for your Lorehound pet, and of course access to the boss, not to forget. You'll gain increased XP when skilling and using a magic carpet from the Divine Carpet Dust Spirits. If you have 3,000 Slayer points lying around, you can now also gain access to a 4th room in the Sunken Pyramid, aka the personal owned Slayer dungeon. And you gain access to 4 different passive buffs, which you can switch around as you please in the Menethos Plaza. The Boon of Het boosts your base life points by 5%. The Boon of Scabras gives you 1% chance of finishing the trail while completing any type of clue scroll. The Boon of Krondis is a really nice skilling passive buff, giving you a 2% chance of gathering an additional material while skilling. And finally, the Boon of Abmekon. You can give nearby players a 1% experience boost for 1 hour by using any emote. This is a really cool community buff that you can use whenever, as there's no cooldown. Absolutely crazy. Yes, it's only 1%, but you can give all of your friends, whenever you'd like, a 1% XP buff. And people are going to be using this in popular skilling hotspots, for sure. So as much as the quest was frustrating to complete and gain pre-required items for, the rewards are solid, maybe not game-breaking, but definitely solid for a quest. With that being said, I'd like to hear what you think about the quest and its rewards down in the comments below, and if you're excited for the Amascut boss based on the story mode fight you've just experienced. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.